Hello class, we're about to start section 12.7, proportions and similar triangles. Proportion, a statement of equality of two ratios. If the ratio of two related quantities is constant, we say the two quantities are proportional. Example 1, a person pays $297 for 6 months use of cable service. So we will have, how much will the person pay for 8 months use of cable service? So it's $297 for 6 months use. And we would set that equal to, we want to know what 8 months are. So we have months with months and dollars with dollars. And then now we cross multiply. So if we cross multiply, we would end up with 297 times 8 is equal to 6 times x. 297 times 8 will give us $2,376 and is equal to 6x. Now we would divide each side by 6 and then we will have $396 is equal to x. And that is our final answer. Are there any questions from example 1? Okay, now example 2. It says 1/2 cup of baked beans contains 430 milligrams of sodium. How many milligrams of sodium are there in 3/4 cup of baked beans? So now what we could do is this here. We can either leave this as fractions or we can make these decimals since they come out to exact numbers. Now as a decimal, we know 1/2 is 0.5. So for 1/2 of a cup, we get 430 milligrams. And we set that equal to. Now we want to know how much sodium is in 3/4 of a cup. We know 3/4 is 0.75, and we don't know how much sodium it is. So we will cross multiply. We have 0.5 times x, and that's equal to 430 times 0.75. Okay, now, so we have 0.5x is equal to, when we multiply 43 times 0.75, that gives us 322.5. You said what? 43 times 0. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So it's 430 times 0.75, and it gives us 322.5. We divide each side by 0.5. And then we will have x is equal to 645 milligrams. And that will be your final answer. The x equals 645 milligrams. Now we come here to example 3. It says, in a poll of 1,000 adults, 770 said that engineers are largely responsible for Americans having a high standard of living. Estimate how many of the 12,500 students at a college would say that engineers are largely responsible for Americans having a high standard of living. So now we have 1,000 adults, and it says that 770 of them state that the engineers are largely responsible for us having a high standard of living. So now it's 12,500 students. So that's the total population, just like 1,000 was the total population. And that's over how many agree that the engineers are responsible for this. So we would cross multiply. We would have 1,000 times x. And that's equal to 770 times 12,500. Now, this will give us 1,000x is equal to, this would be 9,625,000. Now we would divide each side by 1,000. And that will leave us x is equal to 9,625 students. And that will be the final answer for this problem. Okay, now we come down here to B. It says discuss any assumptions that you made in part A. Describe a possible scenario in which the result in part A is an underestimate. So class, I took the liberty of typing out the answers here because it's a lot easier to type than to actually write this with this pen that I have. So for the first part, you assume that the students are like the regular adult public. That will take care of your A. Now for your B, where we have the underestimate, if we ask the College of Engineering students, then the number would be higher than the 9,625 students. So those are the answers for those problems. Now we go on to the next page. Now you can pause the video and copy this down if you need to. Okay, now we come here to the next page. We have similar triangles. It says two triangles whose corresponding angles are equal in measure. The side lengths of the corresponding sides are proportional. Now, if we look here, we have example. Now, if you notice, we have this triangle here and this triangle here. They are similar, but we want to solve to prove that they are proportional. So what we could do is this here. If you notice that the side that we're missing here is Z, and the side we're missing here is A. So we could solve for both of these. This is what we could do. We could take C over B, which should be equal to side Z over Y. So now we could substitute those values in. C is 3, and B is 7. Z, we don't know, so we'll leave that as Z. And then Y is 14. Now, if we look here, we could do cross multiplication. We have 3 times 14 is equal to 7 times Z. 3 times 14 will give us 42, and it equals 7Z. We divide each side by 7, and 6 is equal to Z. So our answer here would be 6 for Z. And then now we want to find A. So if we look here, since now we have Z, which is 6, we could do C over A, and we could set that equal to Z over X. Now remember, this is a Z, not a 2. Okay, so C is 3, and A, we don't know. Z is 6, and X is 12. So we could cross multiply. We would have 3 times 12 is equal to 8 times 6. So that would be 36 is equal to 6A. Divide each side by 6, and then we would have A is equal to 6. Now, one thing about proportions is this here. They do not necessarily equal to the same values. It just so happened that happened in this situation here. Okay, now we go to example 4, and this will be our last example. It says the two triangles shown are similar. Find the length of the side labeled X feet. Okay, so we only need to find this side that has X feet. So we notice that these two sides here are similar to these two sides. So we have 7 over 8 is equal to 4 over X. So we cross multiply. So we would have 7 times X is equal to 8 times 4. So we would have 7X is equal to 32. We can divide each side by 7, and X will equal to 4.5 feet. And we're done. Are there any questions?